Welcome back, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here. We've got two new commanders coming to Rise of Kingdoms because there's a new civilization coming into the game. It's been confirmed Egypt based on the two commander pictures that were posted by Rise of Kingdoms on social media. Let's jump in. I have not only the names of the commanders, but also their skills. We've got information from the Korean servers for the skills for both of these two new commanders coming for the Egypt civilization. Let's jump in. I'll go through them with you. Let's describe what these two commanders can possibly do for you on the field and give you the information that I know all of you are looking for. All right, and before we jump in, I just want to say, again, if you have not subscribed yet, please make sure that you do so. Hit that bell notification. This is a sponsored content creation channel for Rise of Kingdoms. Make sure you hit that bell so you get all the daily info for Rise of Kingdoms, all the guides, the tips, the tricks, the KVK actions, all that good stuff right here on this channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and jump into the actual commanders. Again, on the screen right now, we have Imhotep, Blessings of the Nile. Now, again, on the top left corner of the picture that was posted on Rise of Kingdoms official social media, it says Egypt on the top left. We got a little bit of a teaser a few days ago about another civilization coming, and it talked about pharaohs, and it had a pyramid on it. So we all really assumed that it was going to be Egypt, but now 100% confirmed. It's in the description of the background on this commander that was released today. Now, it's not in the game yet. Again, there's no time frame. I don't have any of that information just yet. But what I do have for you is a Korean translation of the skills for both this commander Imhotep and also Thutmose III, which is the other commander that will be released. Now, for those of you that don't know, when a new civilization released, because again, it doesn't happen all the time, when a new civilization releases, there's two commanders that come out with that civilization. One that's the epic that you get by selecting that as a civilization at the start, and then a secondary legendary that can usually go into the gold tavern, the gold keys inside the tavern that you can get using gold keys. You won't have to necessarily spin the wheel for him or go an MGE win or anything like that. It's usually done through the gold key tavern. That's the way it's always been up until this point. Who knows if that changes? There's no specific instructions on how this is going to work. Every other civilization that's been released, this is the way that it's been done. Let's go ahead and jump into the skill description translations. Now, again, these are Korean translations from the Korean servers. This is stuff that I've gotten off of a Discord that I'm a part of where I get, a little bit of information ahead of time. And if I feel like it's vetted and if I feel like it's official enough from one of the Rise of Kingdoms servers, I'll bring it to you guys. This is one of those situations where I feel like this isn't a leak. You shouldn't know this information kind of thing. This is ahead of time information for you guys to take advantage of. So with that being said, let's jump in. Imhotep first skill inflicts a debuff effect on up to 5 targets. Okay, so it's a 5-target AoE within the surrounding circular area. So it's a circular AoE. Now, again, this may be from an expertise. We're going to have to figure it out. For 3 seconds, increasing damage taken by the targets by 20%. Okay, so again, to me, the way that first skill reads, this is the epic commander for Egypt. I don't think that that would be a legendary commander first skill, even from a gold key situation, because it's not a massive shield and it's not a massive, well, not massive, but gold key commander wise, big damage, right? There's no big damage. There's no, there's no massive shield or anything like that. The only change I would think would be like a Ragnar. Ragnar has that. He's legendary, so we'll have to continue to read through these. Increases the attack power and defense of the archer unit by 15%. Okay, that's on par with like a Richard, which again is not a gold key commander, used to be, but not anymore. When garrisoned in your city, the garrison's health is increased by 7%. This is really reading epic commander to me, okay? So again, you have when garrisoned in your city, the garrison's health is increased by 7%. That's kind of like Pelagius, okay? So Kusunoki has the same kind of thing. Those type of epic commanders have that level of bonus for their garrison. So to me, this is really going to be an epic commander. Again, this will be summonable with gold keys as well, but also from, if you choose this, if you're a brand new player to Rise of Kingdoms, if you choose this civilization, and we don't have the skills for the civilization yet, I'm really looking forward to those. We will have, you'll get Imhotep in the Gold Key Tavern at the very beginning. So that's the first 3 skills. So first skill was the debuff. Second skill is the attack and defense buff. Third skill is the garrison buff. Fourth skill, when the commanded unit receives an attack, so receives damage, there is a 10% chance to inflict a debuff effect on the target unit for 3 seconds, reducing the target's skill damage by 15%. This skill activates up to once every 5 seconds. So if you're getting swarmed, you can only hit this with one target every 5 seconds. But it's a 3-second debuff, and again, not overpowered. It's very similar to a Mulan skill. Actually, again, she has something very similar to that as well. From a swarming situation and a debuff that gets thrown out from a rage perspective. But again, very, very good skill, again, for an epic commander. I think this is definitely an epic commander. Just looking at him versus looking at Thutmose as well, as far as his actual visual, this to me is your epic commander for the Egypt civilization. And then also, again, the expertise. Okay, so this is the expertise. Inflicts a debuff. Okay, so it was. So it looks exactly the same, right? You have a inflicts a debuff effect on up to 5 target units within the surrounding circle area for 3 seconds, increasing the target's damage taken by 30%, which is what Alex actually does, guys, by the way, as well. It's not, it's basically the same thing, but obviously Alex has more for his skill. 30% damage taken increase, so pretty sweet. I will say, right, so it probably means that the first skill is likely either a 3-target AoE, and maybe it's not even circular either, and again, it's at 20%. So to me, it's likely that without the expertise, it's a 3-target fan-shaped AoE for 20% damage, or 20% damage taken on the targets, and then the expertise will bump it to 5, make it a circle, and make it 30%. Some flavor of that, right? They're going to change it a little bit, but ultimately, I think that's what's going to be exactly how it works out. So this is, again, in my opinion, it's not official, but in my opinion, this is going to be your epic Egypt civilization commander that comes with it. Just like, Baybars with Arabia, just like Joan with France, just like Sun Tzu with China, all those, right? Bjorn with Vikings, etc., etc. This is going to go ahead and be your epic. Let's go ahead and jump over to the, in my opinion, what's going to be the legendary one. All right, so Thutmose III, the Warrior King. Again, Egypt on the top left there is transcribed there. It looks like there is a distinct different expertise. So the first skill says inflicts fixed damage to up to 3 target units in a cone front shape. So fan-shaped AoE, okay, direct damage, fan-shaped AoE, and each target units receive 15% less each. So again, this really leans towards it being legendary. Every additional target receives 15% less damage, just like all the other AoE legendary commanders. Additionally, though, so there's an additional effect. Additionally, the current target reduces the healing received by 30% for the next 5 seconds. That's pretty strong. There's a lot of healing commanders out there, obviously Richard being one of the biggest ones. He also has a healing received boost, so this would actually counteract a Richard. Not too bad. Again, you got tons of other ones. You got Takeda, you got Double C, etc., etc., etc. There's tons of them out there. This could help you take down targets. They won't be receiving as much healing, which means they won't get as many troops back, which means you can kill them faster. That's always good. 1,000 AoE, that's really good. That's basically Baybars if you think about it, once he's expertised. Again, this is basically Sun Tzu with the extra additional damage that you factor in and all that. But again, only 3 targets, not 5, and it is a fan-shaped AoE. It says a cone, but it's basically a fan-shaped AoE for Thutmose III. Again, this is leaning towards your legendary Gold Key commander because of specifically the 15% less damage for each target you add into your AoE. Second skill, archer units deal 15% more damage. Now that's interesting. That's very large for an all damage buff. That's very large for an all damage buff. I wonder if that's a translation error, or maybe it's 5% or 15% more attack. That would make a lot more sense for a Gold Key commander. Archer unit is, we'll read it as it's translated, but we'll also do a little bit of insight into exactly how these things generally tend to work in the game, and maybe this will meet in the middle, right? So archer units deal 15% more damage, and their march speed is increased by 10%. Increases total damage dealt by 15% while outside the Alliance territory. So I wonder if it's 5% more damage regular, and then 15% more damage if you're outside of Alliance territory. That would make more sense to me, or even 10%, I think is doable. But 15%, that obviously the skill doesn't make sense. If it's 15% more damage at the beginning, and then if you're outside of Alliance territory, it's also 15%, why would they bother explaining being outside of Alliance territory? So to me, it's either 5 to 10% damage all the time, and then if you're outside of Alliance territory, it's increased to 15% damage total, which is again a great buff. 15% all damage is very strong, and you get a 10% march speed, which all archers need. That's a good second skill. Third skill, the defense of the archer units commanded in the field increases by 10%. So while on the map, this is how it's, I'm translating in-game in English. So while on the map, archer units receive a 10% defense buff, and with each attack, there's a 10% chance to inflict a debuff effect on the target unit for 3 seconds, which increases the target's skill damage. That has to be a target skill damage taken by 15%. It has to be because again, why would a skill give your enemy a skill damage buff? That wouldn't make any sense. And the defense buff that you get is not worth giving that. So this has to be a skill damage taken debuff. So the defense of the archer units commanded in the field increases by 10%, and with each attack, there's a 10% chance. So in each normal attack, there's a 10% chance to inflict a debuff effect on the target unit. It says debuff as well. Target unit for 3 seconds, increasing the target's skill damage taken by 15%. So it's not every second, so it doesn't end up being 45%. It is a 15% skill damage taken debuff for 3 seconds. This is likely passive as well, which means it will stack with Tamiris. It will stack with the new commanders that have skill damage taken debuffs as well. Your Prime Boudikas, your Henrys, right? I'm not sure which one it is, but one of those. These should all stack. These should all stack. So this could definitely be a good counter rally kind of situation, taking increased skill damage. There's tons of uses for this. This debuff activates once every 8 seconds. So very long recast timer for 3 seconds. The way it looks to me, it looks like it'll be up about 20 to 30% of the time, which is good. But the problem is, obviously, it's a 10% chance, so you can't control it per se. But again, it's always helpful. You can never have too many skill damage taken debuffs in this game, right? There's so much skill damage in this game, you have to take advantage of it. Let's look at the fourth skill. Reduces counterattack damage taken by the commanding units by 10%. Okay, so 10% counterattack damage taken reduction when attacked. So that's going to be a normal attack. It's not going to be a counterattack. Has a 10% chance to inflict skill damage to the target unit once. Damage factor 700. That's fairly large for a 10% chance skill that can proc once every 8 seconds. This is kind of like Cyrus. Cyrus has something very similar to this. CJ also, I believe, from an infantry standpoint, has something very similar to this in the stalwart skill. This is kind of like the way Cyrus operates. So so again, just to recap that skill, you get a 10% counterattack damage taken reduction on yourself, which is good. You also have a 10% chance to inflict a skill damage to the target of 700 direct factor damage factor. This effect can trigger once every 8 seconds. That's pretty strong. Let's look at the expertise finally. After casting the active skill, okay, so after you cast your 1000 damage AoE, the damage of the basic, so normal attack inflicted by the commanded units is increased by 30%. Lasts 3 seconds, and the skill activates up to once every 8 seconds. So, the expertise not that big of a deal. I do like obviously the normal attack damage increased by 30%. That's pretty strong, but it only activates every 8 seconds. If this was 5 seconds, this would make a lot more sense. We also, again, have to figure out what their talent trees are going to be that are available for these commanders. Those have not been released yet, or at least I haven't found them yet. So that could impact how some of these skills really work functionally in the game. But a skill activating once every 8 seconds in the real world, right? If you're casting, right? If you're attacking somebody and you're going through your skill cycle chain, if you have Thutmose, you're gonna cast your first skill probably in the 8 to 10 second range, depending on who you have this with, which accessories you have, all that good stuff, right? 8 to 10 seconds is likely going to be the time, and then once you start your second skill cycle, that's so hard to say, skill cycle, that's going to likely be in about 5 to 6 seconds, which means that you won't get that expertise every 2 skills. So you'll have the expertise firing off with a 30% normal attack damage bonus every 2 skill cycles after you start casting. Now, if it's in a murder ball situation, that's a little bit different because you're generally going back and forth and only firing off 1 skill cycle at a time anyway. So basically, you'll get this every 8 to 10 seconds anyway, which again was basically how it's described. So it depends on the situation that you're in, but Canyon, that can impact Canyon usage. This can impact Arc usage as well when it comes to how these skills fire off and what their cooldown timers are. But this is the skill sets for both of these commanders. I hope it's been helpful for you guys. I hope you're excited as I am. Always happy to get a new civilization into a 3.5-year-old game based on and used to be called Civilizations. So really looking forward to seeing a new civ in the game and seeing what the new civilization buffs are. I'm really looking forward to that. And again, always happy to get new gold key commanders. Now, if you don't plan, just a quick recommendation, if you don't plan on maxing this guy or really going after this guy, and you do have gold key commanders that you still need to max, use your gold keys now. That way your prize pool doesn't expand, because not only will the Imhotep commander be on the gold key, but also Thutmose III should be on the gold key, which means that's more commanders you can get with your singular gold key, which means that your prize pool has expanded and your chances to get the commanders that you actually want have shrunk. So if you need your Charles, if you need a Julius, if you need all the Mulan or whatever, right? If you need those commanders, Freddy, etc., you need to open your gold keys now. Open them now so that you don't have Thutmose in the lineup to be able to get pulled, which will again lower your chance of getting commanders that you actually want if you don't plan on maxing him. If you do plan on maxing him, obviously save your gold keys up. Make sure you save as many as you can so that whenever he comes out and he's on the Gold Key Tavern, you can go ahead and try and unlock him, and ultimately, eventually, if you're just going to use gold keys, max him in about 2 years. So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video and it's been informative for you guys. And I hope that you get what you need out of this to make decisions for your account going forward. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one and take care.